Welcome to Procurement Says No, Episode 12!
Woo!
Hello, Ed.
Hello, Rich. We've done a dozen. Well, almost.
A dozen episodes of Procurement Delight.
Oh, you just love it. It's like an imperial number of episodes, isn't it?
It is, yes. We are non-decimalised. 12 to the dozen. Procurement Says No. Here we go. We have lots of excitement for you on this episode. This is going to be a bit of a made-up as we go along episode, but we have noticed, Ed and I, that on Linked Up and on online media generally, and well everywhere, that everyone is banging on about lists, whether they're management techniques or mental well-being or nutritional foods or nicest shoes, or of course procurement. It's Listmania. It's Listeria. It's all of the lists, Ed.
Listmania. I think it's like WWE. We should have, if we had video, we'd have like wrestlers leaping into a ring with their lists.
So we thought we would get onto this particular bandwagon and go on and on about lists this episode. Plus, we've got the news. And of course, we have more questions and answers in Ask Rich and Ed.
Ooh. And interestingly, with lists, there used to always be lists of 10, but they're not anymore. We've got an Elon Musk list of 6. God, what's the world coming to?
10 used to be a normal number, now nobody cares.
No, they've just gone radical, haven't they?
In the news! So, this is from Neil Perry in procurementmag.com. The Clean Energy Procurement Academy is uniting these wonderful companies, Apple, Amazon, Meta, Nike, and PepsiCo, to help supply chains accelerate sustainable change. Some of the largest companies in the world have now formed an alliance in the Clean Energy Procurement Academy, CEPA, to equip companies with the skills and knowledge required to access clean energy. The CEPA receives backing from the We Mean Business Coalition and aims to provide valuable insights tailored to assist energy customer companies, that's most companies, supply chain partners, and various regions. This collaborative effort between corporations and suppliers is focused on expediting the adoption of clean energy procurement, tackling Scope 3 emissions, and driving the global supply chain towards decarbonisation.
Blah, 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 blah.
Apple and Nike, who are great at this stuff, initiated the project through the Clean Energy Buyers Institute. There's a lot of different institutes going on here, the CEBI, and we're joined by Amazon, Meta, PepsiCo as founding organisations. There's another one called REI Co-op, don't know them, to exercise the Clean Energy Procurement Academy, which will address the climate crisis by acting quickly to expand access to clean energy around the world. Moving out of silos and sharing expertise is a key part of the business community taking essential climate action, Ed. Meta says, we know that reaching net zero value chain emissions will not be an easy task, and it will take cross-industry collaboration to raise tides and lift all boats. What?
Raise tides.
Raise tides and lift all boats? What?
So that's a really strange analogy, isn't it?
Isn't it weird? So, well done, Amazon, Meta, PepsiCo, Nike, and Apple. All those companies who have our best interests at heart. So well done to them.
Marketing bullshit or reality?
I think it's reality, Ed.
Excellent. Not a big marketing ploy.
No. Might be with a bit of stunned silence.
Yeah, that was like a bit of consultancy bingo, wasn't it? Was that like how many buzzwords can I get into and buzz acronyms into one announcement?
Yeah, the CEPA, what was the other one? The CEBI and the We Mean Business Coalition. All groups that I want to be a part of, I can tell you.
I think I need to pee.
Any news from you, Eduardo?
Yeah, so I spotted this on the linked up feed from somebody. There seems to be something going on at CIPS. So I think you've mentioned before, Rich, and we've talked about this a little bit previously with Peter Smith, that
Trouble at Mill?
there's trouble at Mill, and that there's some sort of petition or somebody angry with CIPS for cozying up or working too closely in some capacity with Crown Commercial Service. What is going on, Rich? What is going on at CIPS Mill? And if any of our viewers want to write in, listeners, if any of our listeners want to drop us a note about their thoughts, would be really interesting, because CIPS is a sort of an esteemed body for procurement professionals globally. I think it's the biggest body, I think. It certainly doesn't cover the US particularly, but covers everywhere else.
Let us know, and we'll keep it secret. You can be anonymous.
Yeah, but we'll mention your name anyway.
Mum's the word.
Bob's your auntie.
More news from Supply Chain Dive, this time from Edwin Lopez, who says Biden administration scrutinizes China's links to connected vehicle supply chains. The US Department of Commerce plans to investigate whether connected vehicle supply chains with links to China pose a risk to US national security. The investigation into connected vehicles is yet another way the US is exploring regulating supply chains to safeguard national security. The Biden administration has pushed policies that encourage domestic chip production, incentivize nearshoring, and restrict trading with foreign entities of concern, all of which have affected automakers' supply chain strategies. The Biden administration has expressed particular concern with the role China-linked firms play in designing, developing, manufacturing, and supplying materials for connected vehicles. The White House said that vehicles that rely on foreign technology or data systems could later be used as avenues for espionage and therefore used to threaten national security. President Joe Biden also called out China's actions to dominate the future of the automotive market, including unfair practices and attempting to flood our market with its vehicles. That's reasons for the investigation. And the Chinese are up to it too. In 2021, China began restricting the use of Tesla vehicles by the military and state employees over concerns that the vehicles could be a source of national security leaks, according to the Wall Street Journal. So your car is spying on you, Eduardo.
Just like your Amazon Alexa device or your Google Nest device. Is it like McCarthyism for the 21st century? If you remember back in the 50s, they were all worried about commies and
Reds under the bed.
I've done some work in the defence sector, and I just wonder about all those devices at home that are potentially listening into your conversation. Because we know that in the UK, the MI5 or whatever are listening to calls, aren't they, on mobiles and all that sort of stuff. I know for some defence companies won't buy certain, like even their desktop hardware, from certain suppliers because of concern about embedded listening devices and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, just this week, the Russian news agency have published that German military cabinet meeting. Look what the Germans' defence people are talking about in their closed-door meeting.
I was watching a programme on TV in the race to build Concorde, the only supersonic jet airliner, and the Russians made something called Concordsky, copied from Concorde. Basically, some bloke in the 70s going into the office just after all the engineers had left, because they had all drawings then, and taking loads of drawings, putting them in his briefcase, swapping them with his Russian handler. They were taking copies, giving them back or whatever, and then early on Monday morning, before his engineering buddies got in, he put all the drawings back. It's as simple as that.
So there you go. So that's the news. There's not a lot of news.
We were talking about this before, weren't we, Rich, in the sort of prep for the call. We do loads of prep, don't we?
Hours and hours, quite literally.
There's not a lot out there, is there?
So you heard it here first on Procurement Says No. There is nothing happening in the world of procurement.
Dun, dun, dun.
And on that bombshell, it's time for Ask Rich and Ed.
Ooh.
Now, we've got lots of questions here, Ed, today, so I doubt we'll ever get through all of these. Let's make a start. Question 1. This is from Erica Dominiquez from Portugal. What is best, TFM, Total Facilities Management, or doing individual deals for FM services? We have 2 sites in Portugal, 2 in Italy, 2 in France, and 1 in Germany, and 2,500 employees. What do you reckon to that one, Eduardo?
It depends.
Yes, it depends. I'm not sure if there are very many pan-European TFM providers. Mighty, maybe. I think Mighty are quite big, but I think they're mainly Northern Europe rather than Southern Europe.
I think it depends on what the objectives of the business are. I think if you're trying to get rid of overhead, cost, be super efficient, then maybe some sort of TFM solution by country might be workable.
Yeah.
I think it's quite difficult to get suppliers to work on a pan-country basis. Pan-European businesses are not set up to work that way, bar one or two, like Microsoft, for example. Generally speaking, it depends on what your strategy is, efficiency, etc. You have to think about that first, and then you get to what would be best. It's clearly cheaper to have local companies doing catering, pest control, gardening, because you've got no overhead associated with it. But obviously, you've got an overhead in terms of managing each of those parties. So I think it's a bit of a sort of cost modelling exercise and a look at your strategy, really, what your business wants. I've done some work with a few companies, even UK based. It can be quite difficult to make the cost of TFM work. If you bring a total facilities management company in, this is the brutal reality of it, they look at what you do from a health and safety perspective and go, ooh, we're a bit worried about this, this, and this in your facilities. They're risks. We need to fix them. They are left a little buried in many organisations and ignored. So I know that's not a good answer.
Yeah. No, you're right.
But then you find that you've got suddenly loads of statutory requirements that your outsourcer is saying, ooh, you've got to do that because it costs money. So for businesses thinking about profitability, and they have to sometimes avoid some of those hard decisions.
So you can either brush it under the carpet, which is what Ed is recommending here, but it is pretty fragmented, the FM industry across Europe. I think there's a few big players, as you said. There's big players in each individual market. But having spent some time in a large FM company, I would say there are advantages to having a TFM solution around consistency of service level and visibility and cost data management and performance management and all that stuff. And you've got a single point of accountability. But you're right, they will uncover stuff that, hang on, your site in Wolverhampton hasn't been maintained for the last 25 years, and therefore there's a massive cost to get it up to standard, etc. They will uncover that, which is a good thing, really. But if you're looking at reducing cost, that might not be a good thing, as you say. Brush it under the carpet seems to be the answer, Erica.
Great answer.
Question 2.
So this is from Anne Rice in New Orleans, in the United States of America. UNSPSC codes. What do we think as a way of codification of external spend, Rich?
Well, for those of you who don't know, the United Nations Standard Products and Services Code, the UNSPSC, is a taxonomy of products and services using a 4-level hierarchy coded as an 8-digit number with an optional 5th level adding 2 more digits. And the latest release, which was from, I think it was back end of 23 of the code set, is 26.0801 and contains 157,116 total items. So, yes, it's great, but don't use the whole lot. Only use a subset that you need, because you do not need 157,000 codes of items.
Crikey. Well, I don't know. I think you need to know that within your office supplies or janitorial spend that you're buying paper towels green in a certain size. I think that's quite important to know, that you're spending £12 a year on that.
And on the basis that in most ERP systems I've seen, most people code things as miscellaneous other, it's all a bit irrelevant.
Into my early part of my procurement career, took over indirect procurement. The most common code that was used for codifying things
Other
was the first one on the list.
Aardvark.
Yes, Aardvark supplies.
To answer your question, Anne, UNSPSC is great in theory.
But in reality?
It's pants.
Yes. But I would say, just from a system perspective, if you've got multiple systems around the world, having something common, and that is the most common system, makes sense.
It does make sense, but keep it simple. Maybe just use the first 3 layers.
Yeah.
Right, the next one is from Derek Banas in Australia. My supplier is threatening to put me on stop due to non-payment of invoices. We owe them 500,000 Aussie dollars, some of which is 4 months old. What can I do?
Sort it out.
Get them paid.
Yeah, your contract with your supplier is really simple. They supply stuff, you give them money.
And if you remember, our good friend Mark Sherwood-Edwards talked about this. When you're a buyer, your actual contract obligation is pretty limited. It's basically pay them. So if you can't even do that right, then that's not impressive. I found it's actually sometimes it's worth encouraging suppliers to threaten stop to get the powers that be within the business to actually release the payments. Always check with the grown-up first, though.
Yes, exactly. And that's just for our procurement audience, not for anybody else from any other functions, of course. We don't want that. We didn't say that, really. The thing that I'd look at is why the stop is happening. In my experience, most companies don't deliberately not pay suppliers on time. Some do for liquidity reasons, but most of the time it's because something's wrong with the process. And it could be as simple as the supplier isn't putting the purchase order number on the invoice. It could be just something as simple as that, or it's not being booked in.
Find out what's going on, because it's usually a small error on the invoice, or nobody's actually goods received it, or even if they don't actually physically goods receive it, nobody's pressed the button to say the goods are received.
Yeah, and I'd just make a really serious point here. One of the biggest issues for procurement people is admin and things going wrong, dealing with issues that have happened and then going away and fixing them and not putting corrective action in place. I think procurement people spend 50, 60, 70, 80% of the time not on procurement tasks.
So what you're suggesting there, Ed, is that procurement is not a strategic function. It's merely an administrative one.
I got my hand over my mouth at every point.
Oh, my God.
Yes.
I can't believe you said that out loud. Jeez. Next question.
I was just going through stunned silence then again.
Next question. Do you want to do it?
Hi, this is from Eric Jacoby, theatric name. He's in New York City in the United States. My company is looking at upgrading an old SAP.
SAPs?
That could be a new phrase. Actually, let's go again. My company is looking at upgrading an old SAP system. Should we go along with Ariba or Salesforce as an obvious integrated add-on, or should we look at a best-of-breed solution? So I think what we're asking here is, we've got an old SAP system. We don't necessarily want to change the whole system itself. So do we upgrade that, or do we add some bolt-ons from SAP Ariba or Salesforce to make it better, make it a best-of-breed solution? What do we do?
Personally, from personal experience, I would go best of breed from one of the many hundreds and hundreds of tech providers out there, the 600 and counting, we said last time, didn't we? I'd go for best of breed, and don't believe the hype about fully integrated, because especially if you've got an older version of something like SAP, you will find that the latest version of Ariba doesn't actually integrate very well with the older version of SAP. So go best of breed.
Sage advice, Rich. Sage advice. The biggest impediment to taking any route is your enterprise system being out of date. And in some cases, they become not supported. Most vendors are going to cloud-based solutions. So if you've got some older version that is resident within your business or whatever, then I think you're going to have problems integrating with anything because of support. There's a broader set of considerations, I think.
And going back to our previous question as well, we in a previous life were implementing Ariba, and we were doing it with UNSPSC. And we discovered that the old version of SAP didn't work with UNSPSC.
Excellent.
It was brilliant. Next one is from Merrick Johnson in Montreal in Canada. I'm heading up a medium-sized procurement team located in different locations across the country. In Canada, we have 5 manufacturing plants with small procurement teams plus an HQ centre in Montreal. What is in vogue from an organisation point of view? Should I centralise or decentralise the team in order to improve team bonding and performance? Eduardo, what do you reckon?
Cool. Age-old question, isn't it? Shall I centralise? Shall I decentralise? Shall I have a hybrid model? I think it depends which way the wind's blowing. I think these things go in and out of vogue. I think you have to think about the strategy of the organisation, the thinking within the organisation about how it operates. Are all your sites corralled with one HR group at the centre, one sales group at the centre, one IT group at the centre, or is it generally decentralised? You have to think about what the CEO or the president of the organisation is thinking, and the board are thinking in terms of the direction of the business, because I think that you have to reflect the way in which the operation operates. Either is workable. It depends on the organisational model and the strategy of the business. A lot of businesses, I think, operate with some sort of hybrid model, typically when they've got multiple sites. Canada's a massive country. It's quite difficult to manage a team member who's in a different time zone to you on one side of the country where you're on another side.
Speaking French.
Yeah, exactly. You've got language issues, got cultural issues, differences of way of thinking and so forth. So I think there's a whole series of factors that you have to throw into the bucket, stir up to give you an answer to that one.
Yeah, I agree. And we all use Teams now. Whatever happened to Zoom? Zoom had it all, didn't they? And then they lost it all. So it's much easier to communicate now across Teams. And given that lots of people are also working from home, there's there's less of a site-based culture anyway across businesses. But I think single management accountability is good. So maybe a solid functional line and a dotted sort of local management line works well, or vice versa. Depends, as you say, depends on the culture, the overall culture of the business. But key to it, I think, is creating that sense of team, within the function, and creating a career path within the function as well. So you may be remote, but you're part of the procurement team. Yeah. You're part of your local team, but you're also part of the procurement team.
In a previous life, I ran a business globally, and I had procurement people in Australia, and it's almost impossible to manage them. They were based in Sydney and Adelaide. Some of the time for Sydney, the time difference is 11 hours. You just try communicating, try having team meetings when the time difference is 11 hours. You're talking to your Australian counterpart and saying, well, we're going to have a call. We'll do it in the UK at midday or whatever, or 10 in the morning. And you're going to be on at midnight.
Yeah.
And then the US team are going to be on at, 7 in the morning. It's very difficult. Well, when I was in that role, I got a lot of pressure from the board to relinquish responsibility for Australia, which I resisted, and possibly foolishly. But they felt more comfortable, I think, with me because we're all procurement folk in an outsourcing environment. But it's very difficult to make it work.
Back in whenever this 2000s, I was at Cadbury's and we had a global procurement leadership team. But the guy from Australia used to come on the call. So we were having a 9 o'clock call on Friday morning or something, and it's 7 o'clock Friday evening, and now I'm on the veranda with my glass of red. So it was a much more relaxed meeting for him. So anyway, yes. So it depends is the answer to Merrick Johnson. It depends. Last question is from Milton Erickson in Nevada, USA. I am way behind my savings targets for the year. Should I make something up to ensure I hit my targets? Given the state of company data, no one would ever know.
Ooh, no. Integrity is rather important in business life. The answer is no, do not make your savings targets up. If you have good reason for not hitting your targets, then everybody understands. If you haven't hit your savings targets because you haven't been doing anything, then you deserve what you get.
Yeah. You can bend the reality a little bit, can't you? But you've got to have credibility. So there's, back to that sort of cost avoidance and all that kind of stuff. You need to have some credibility in your figures. You can't just make stuff up. Otherwise, it will come back and bite you in the bum. And no one will ever believe a thing you say ever again, Milton.
And also, I think that at the heart of being in procurement in a commercial function, what is central to that is personal integrity. So if you ever get found out, there is a good chance that you'll be disciplined or fired.
Yes. So Milton, look into the eyes, not around the eyes, look into the eyes. Don't make it up.
No. Building on your point, Rich, when you're thinking about savings delivery, I know that the finance function, the business, want you to only focus on price reduction and stuff that makes a clear impact to the bottom line. But there's no reason you shouldn't measure softer savings, so cost avoidance and so forth, efficiency improvements, and report them.
Yeah.
You're not going to get the same credit for them as a out-and-out price reduction that is P&L benefiting, but for those other savings, I think they're worth talking about. And if you're reporting back to the finance leadership or whatever, and you haven't hit your numbers, but you're saying, well, actually, I've done all these other good things, you won't get the same accolade, but they're less likely to get angsty.
Yeah. So we've got more innovation, we've got a new product range, we've got support from suppliers, they're doing things that they wouldn't normally help us with, we've got better performance, etc. Yeah.
And next year I will deliver my numbers because I've done all these things in preparation. Obviously, if you're not delivering savings and you're in that type of business, then you're perhaps in the wrong role.
Alternatively, you could just say, I've saved £16 billion this year. I just can't prove it.
Excellent. That's how we got through our careers.
Absolutely. We've done lots of questions there, Eduardo. All of the questions, all of the answers on Procurement Says No.
Super.
Now, it's Listmania time. It's Listeria. So, Eduardo, we have a list of lists here. Now, you put some of these together and I've put some of these together, but I'm going to start because you put this one together, which is Elon Musk's 6 rules for Tesla employees, also known as 6 rules for insane productivity. Now, Ed, you were going to get Elon on the show. So is he joining us on the show to talk through his list?
He's otherwise indisposed with flying to Mars.
Oh, damn.
And if we talk to him on the call with a delay to Mars, that's half an hour. We'd ask him a question, then we'd just sit here with insane silence for 30 minutes.
Oh, I had noticed earlier he was in the green room on our recording software here, but it just keeps going off. It's obviously got a bad signal. Alas, Elon couldn't make it, but we have got his list. So should we go through his list, see what he says? Is it sensible stuff?
Yeah, I think there's some good stuff in there.
So number 1, avoid large meetings because they waste valuable time and energy. They discourage debate, blah, blah, blah.
This is a bit like the Japanese thing, isn't it? You know, they talk about, I can't remember the Japanese phrases, but decisions aren't made in meetings.
Yeah.
They're made at the water cooler or the coffee machine or whatever. It's people talking and having separate conversations about an issue and getting to a sort of, perhaps it's sort of a form of diplomacy, isn't it? People sit, and I've sat in interminable meetings where your contribution is like 30 seconds worth in an hour.
Yeah, I used to work in a company which used to have huge meetings, regular, pointless meetings, loads of them. Completely ludicrous that nobody even knew why they were there half the time. And there certainly weren't any decisions being made. It was just be at the meeting because it's a meeting. It's bizarre.
It's the feeling of being busy,
Yes.
not adding value, not making a difference.
So we agree with the first one. Next one is?
I like his next one. Yeah, leave a meeting if you're not contributing.
Yeah.
What we say here is if a meeting doesn't require your input, value or decision, then your presence is useless. This is a phrase, I think, from Elon. It's not rude to leave a meeting, but it is rude to waste people's time. I find it really annoying when people are late for meetings because it's like their time's more valuable than yours. I mean, obviously there's exceptions.
Yeah.
You know, they're caught up with something important, but it's sort of you're wasting everybody else. 10 people in a meeting, one person turns up late, everybody waits for the start. You're wasting other people's time, aren't you?
So be on time, and if you're not adding value, leave. Sounds good.
You should just leave the meeting, but people, do they ever?
Number 3, forget the chain of command, which is easy to say when you're Elon Musk.
I own this company. He's stroking his chin at this point and stroking his white cat.
Communicate with colleagues directly, not through supervisors or managers. Yes, that's good. And again, a company I used to work with was ludicrous in it went up and down the chain. So it's just like decisions and complaints generally went up and down the chain, and it was utterly ridiculous. It's just like, just pick up the phone and talk to the guy.
I've got a brilliant example of this from my time at Pricewaterhouse, the very early days. I was working with I'll say it's such a long time ago, it doesn't matter now, things have changed, but I was working with the NAFI, which is in the UK, it's the organisation that supplies food and drink and stuff and supplies to the British Armed Forces around the world. I was asked by a department manager how I thought he should communicate in another functional area. And I said to him, well, what I think you should do, I was sort of about 29 at the time. It's like some, middle-aged man to me asking me this question. I thought, well, the thing is, just go and talk to them about it. Go down to their, area, go and have a chat with them and say, this is happening. How do we sort it out? His response was to send a memo. And the memo wasn't from names, it was from job titles.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, in the military where they don't put their names on things. So when people moved jobs, you didn't know who actually written the memo. It was brilliant.
And that was just doomed to failure. I'm not going to deal with the issue. I'm just going to send a memo to somebody, and I'm not even going to put my name on it. It's like, really?
So, and Elon's number 4 is the opposite of what you just said there. Be clear, not clever. Avoid nonsense words and technical jargon. It slows down communication. Choose words that are concise and to the point. Don't try to sound smart. Be efficient. Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah, the number of meetings, again, number of times you've been in things and people talking 3-letter acronyms and 4-letter acronyms. It's just ludicrous. And obviously we take the P out of this. I need to P because it is ludicrous. All this sort of trying to make stuff sound more complicated than it actually is. Yeah, agree.
And you talked about it earlier with regard to Meta and Apple and all that having their environmental initiative, which was just so choked with buzzwords. Yeah. I can barely remember a word you said 20 minutes ago.
Me too. Yeah, and this is sort of the opposite of the legalese argument, isn't it? When you see these long legal sentences, which are just, it's like a whole paragraph is one sentence. Keep your sentences short and you'll get your message over.
Keep it simple, stupid,
Which is KISS, which is an acronym, Ed. Oh, you've ruined everything by saying that.
I know, there's a certain irony to that.
Oh, there wasn't there? Brilliant. Right, number 5, ditch frequent meetings. There is no better way to waste everyone's time than frequent meetings. I think this one, sometimes you have frequent meetings to try and keep the momentum going, I would say. Actually, there's something about momentum, isn't there? If you don't have the meeting, sometimes in some organisations, nothing happens. So, yeah, I don't fully agree with this one. But, yeah, meetings for meeting's sake is just pointless. But, yeah.
I'm with you, Rich. If you've got a project running, the biggest reason probably that the project doesn't deliver, I think a lot of the time, is that there isn't some sort of frequency of review. with people coming together. I think the issue more for me is the length of the meetings. So we know from the Kawasaki production system, Toyota production system that we learnt about when we were at Price Waterhouse, principle there is quick, sharp meetings. And we used to implement, as part of the Toyota production system, the idea on the shop floor of having a daily meeting, but literally it's minutes long. It's right, What are we doing? What are the issues? What do we need to fix? What does the supervisor need to sort? Right, move on. I think it's less about ditching the frequent meeting and making the meeting fit for purpose.
Yeah.
So I think both of us slightly disagree with that comment.
I think so. Next one is number 6. Use common sense. If a company rule doesn't make sense, then avoid that rule altogether. Again, easy to say when you're Elon Musk. But yeah, I think I agree with that sometimes. That's part of our mindset generally, isn't it, Eduardo and me? Which is why we've done stuff in consulting, because it's like you spot rules that are stupid and you want to do something better, don't you, and improve the way things work.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's a few things, aren't there? There's themes about operating like you would every day, not being different at work. Would you have big, long meetings in your private life? I don't think so, would you? You want to sort something out, you quick phone call, bang, you sort it out, etc. And I think the other is that you use common sense at home, don't you? So why wouldn't you at work?
Said with enormous passion. Right, well done, Elon. We'll get you on. You'll do well, mate. I think he'll do well in business. What do you reckon?
I think he'll do all right, yeah.
Although his car's probably spying on him. The next one is the third mention of PwC today, the PwC Essential 8, a short list of emerging technologies to help business leaders evaluate their relevance and potential impact. Now, this was originally from when? 2016, but they've recently updated it.
Yeah.
So the Essential 8, this is going to be full of bullshit, isn't it?
Yeah.
The Essential 8 are divided into categories. Firstly, the essential to expand, which are artificial intelligence and the Internet of Things. AI will be an enabler to everything else on the Essential 8 list. Wow, there you are. Can't argue with that, can you? Next on the list, essential to evaluate. This is funny, after what we said a couple of weeks ago with Peter Smith. Blockchain, virtual reality, augmented reality, and advanced robotics. What do you reckon, Ed?
I just feel with this stuff, we seem to be talking about the same stuff time and time again and suggesting that it's going to move at such a startling pace.
No.
But it hasn't, has it? I don't think anybody would disagree with the types of things that they're including in there, like AI and quantum computing and all that stuff.
I think we should go to our local PwC office and check them all out, because all the partners are probably in there, aren't they? In their gin palace, talking blockchain with their Meta or Apple augmented facial reality masks on. Yeah. Do you think they are, or do you think they're not?
I don't think they are. They're not using it. So they're saying AI, augmented reality, blockchain, drones, Internet of Things, robotics, virtual reality, and 3D printing, right? They're the things they said in 2016. You show me where they apply in depth in our society. It's all being used. So, let's take Internet of Things, right? 2016, that's it. Internet of Things, that's going to be mind-blowing, changing the world. And what we'll have things like all the vehicles on a motorway, all being connected. Yeah, I heard about some trials.
Yeah, it's not happening, is it?
In Cumbria at night when the M6 is quiet, where they had 8 lorries all connected, but they had drivers in all of them, obviously, for safety reasons. Where are we seeing that? So when I'm on the train and it's gone wrong again, or I'm picking my mobile phone up and thinking, I haven't got a bloody signal.
But yeah, mobile phone signals are just so crap, aren't they now?
It's rubbish, still rubbish, isn't it? And 5G sort of rolling out and stuff, and you think, yeah, we're 35 years down the track now. Actually, mobiles were invented in the 70s, I think, the first ones from AT&T Labs. So when I look at that list that they came out in 2016, I think, yeah, it's all spot on, but to what extent is it being used?
It's all just buzzy words. And the last one is essential to experiment with quantum computing and neuromorphic computing, Eduardo. And 29% of companies that PwC surveyed, this is from the Cheetah Data Institute, said that they would be investing in quantum computing next year.
Or the year after. It's probably beyond our intelligence. I don't know, I think you did an engineering degree, didn't you? So you probably...
I did. It's not beyond my intelligence, Ed.
It's not, no. As somebody who did a business degree, I've got no idea what neuromorphic computing is, and I actually looked it up.
Ooh, what did it say, Ed?
I still don't understand it, but it says it's computer engineering elements modelled on the human brain and nervous system. Okay, so it's copies neurons and synapses in your brain in the way that it works, right? That's just like double Dutch. Like, what? Okay.
Oh no, my computer's had a stroke.
I've just got no idea what it is. The only thing I understood was in a computer, the microprocessor talks to the memory device and they're separate to each other. And with this, the only thing I did understand is having all of that in the same thing. Yeah. And quantum computing, what's that? So we could be Luddites and it's applied in everything we do. It's in our cars, it's in our banking systems, or maybe it's not.
Don't understand.
Quantum theory, behavior of energy and matter at an atomic and subatomic level using electrons and photons. The only photon thing I know is from Star Trek. Photon beam.
Pew, 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 pew.
Star Trek.
What's the next list, Ed?
This is the top 10 procurement skills from our friends at Linked Up.
Right. Top 10 skills you'll need for a career in administration, a career in procurement at the top table.
Oh, boring. Oh, procurement.
What are they, Ed?
Wasn't attributed to any specific person. I think this is just the AI coming up with what it thinks the best things are. So at number 10 in the pop parade this week is contract management.
Yeah.
Procurement managers, read this guff here. Sorry. Procurement managers are responsible for drafting and managing contracts with suppliers in a way that maximizes financial and operational performance and mitigates risk and saves the world. I added that bit. They must also make sure that the terms and conditions are watertight and that suppliers meet their obligations.
Yes.
That's number 10.
Ooh, I agree. It should be in the top 10. Not sure if it's number 10, but it should be in the top 10. What's number 9, Ed?
High level of attention to detail.
Sorry, I missed this one, actually, when I heard it the first time.
What? You missed?
See what I did there?
Yeah, if you're in procurement, you need to read the fine print, pay attention, listen at all times, and do as you're ordered. No, I made that bit up. Read a contract and read it again, summarise it, understand it, etc., etc. Send a purchase order out for 10 widgets, don't buy 10,000. That's the admin bit again.
Yes. Number 8.
Leadership skills. These are something every procurement manager must need, even if they haven't got staff. Procurement managers are not only responsible for managing the procurement process, but are often tasked with managing teams of procurement officers.
Officers? Procurement officers? Who's written this? Is this AI, is it?
Yeah, when I was in procurement, I wanted to be known as Sergeant Major Cross, leader of procurement.
Over the top we go, boys.
Bayonets out. Yes, leadership skills. Yeah, well, it goes for you might not be leading people, but you might be leading a change project, putting a new deal in place, adding a supplier, changing the way that a process works on the shop floor or whatever with regard to stuff that you're buying and it's being delivered to the line or whatever. So yeah, you need to be able to lead. Yes, definitely.
Yeah, leady. What's number 7, Edward?
Tip-top financial skills. So yeah, understanding financial data. It surprises me how few procurement people actually look at the chart of accounts for their suppliers and understand the position their suppliers are in. And I'm sure we've all been in procurement roles when a supplier has gone bump or gone into liquidation, etc. So without us knowing it's going to happen, but if we're paying attention, we might see some markers for that, like the value of their balance sheet, like the amount of debt they have, for example, how leveraged they are.
Cost management, forecasting, analysing financial data, financial reporting. That's the stuff about finance. Not sorting out invoice problems.
Can't we add that in?
No, we can't. What's at number 6, Ed?
Coming in at 6, a new entry, strategic sourcing skills. So a strategic sourcing process. Yes. Understand what we're buying, understand what we have bought, understanding what the market's doing, understanding what stakeholders want, all that sort of stuff, distilling it into a market strategy, the sourcing strategy, and then executing that strategy, i.e. running a tender perhaps, awarding a contract, putting a contract in place, putting some sort of measurement process. I've been doing this so long, I know it backwards.
You do, don't you? It's like making a strategic sourcing soup with Ed Cross. Into the top 5.
Yeah, in at 5, risk management. It's going to the top. It's going to be the most important skill for procurement people because the world is full of risk. The world is getting more dangerous. And we've got the whole set of CSR issues and climate change and all that stuff. So
climate change, COVID, all of the things are happening all at once. It's all getting terrible. I don't like it. I don't like it, Ed. I don't like it.
And then at 4 in the charts is communication skills.
No, I don't understand what you mean.
Don't you? Effective communication and articulation.
Ooh. Enunciation, articulation.
Yes, exactly. Anyway, moving on from communication skills, being able to talk to people, that doesn't mean just being able to present. That means to be able to go up to somebody and engage in a conversation with them where you talk as if you understand their issues and you talk their language. We talked about this before. Don't go in and say, I can save you lots of money to an HR recruitment manager. They want to understand how they're going to fill vacancies. And at 3, relationship management. So a bit like communication skills, really.
Yeah.
I think there's almost the same thing. Getting on with people, even if you don't like them. I mean, me personally, I don't like many people.
Yeah, I mean, we've known each other for 30 years and we hate each other. But we still manage to do this tripe every month.
At 2, analytical skills.
Ooh.
Looking at data, understanding data, seeing patterns in data. I often see patterns in data. I think it's all the LSD I did when I was a child.
And at number 1, strong administration skills. No. Number 1, strong negotiation skills / commercial skills, I would say.
Yes. I think commercial skills. I think you're right. Being able to negotiate is quite an important skill for a procurement professional. And getting what you want and what the supplier feels like is a good outcome for them also is what we want to see in procurement folk. So, yeah. That's good. I think it's a good list. I'm sure there's bits missing. And again, readers.
We've got viewers, we've got readers.
Anyway, listeners, if you've got any thoughts on that, things that we're missing, which, it's obviously not our list, so don't blame us. If you've got any thoughts on this, drop us a line. There's a bit, I think, in procurement, I think there's an additional skill, just thinking on the cuff, around being inquisitive and thinking about where the market's going and what's going to happen. I think that links back to the PwC list and other stuff around where the future will be. I think investigative mindset is a good thing. And also a bit of creativity, I think, in procurement. I'm incredibly creative myself. I don't know about you, Rich. Are you creative?
I'm spectacularly creative, yes. So that's the top 10 list from Procurement Says No. You heard it here first. You read it first on LinkedIn. You heard it first on Procurement Says No.
Thought leaders we are. We steal other people's material and pretend it's our own.
Indeed. Although we're not pretending it's our own here. This was created by LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So everybody go onto LinkedIn and have a look because it's great. Linked up.
That's about the extent of technology being applied and stuff. So it is clearly a chat app.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's quantum or neuromorphic computing in action.
And on that bombshell,
we've got loads more of this stuff as well. Yeah.
We've got so much in the way of listy things that we could do several other episodes, but we'll draw it to a close here. Thank you for listening to Procurement Says No, episode 12.
Dirty Dozen.
Dirty Dozen. We will see you all again next time.
We won't see you. You'll hear from us.
And that's it for Procurement Says No. You'll hear from us again soon with your next set of instructions.
With instructions to destroy the world.
Subconsciously subverting the minds of procurement people over 12 episodes. Oh dear. Right.
Excellent. We didn't mention the guitar solos, did we?
No. Do you want to do that now? Do that.
No, I think we're good. We're good, aren't we? I think we might use some of that again. I think it's quite...
Top 10 lists.
Albeit I've got, 46 pages of that stuff. It's just...
I think we should do the zip list, the procurement list next time, shouldn't we?
Yeah.
Because that's just bollocks.